Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3 HR Advisors and sponsored by Paychex, and also sponsored by WorkHuman. My name is Steve Boese. Despite mounting pressure, some CEOs remain committed to DE&I programs. While numerous firms have rolled back DE&I efforts amid pressure from conservative groups and the White House, some high-profile CEOs have voiced their support or defended the diversity programs at their companies. Deutsche Bank CEO Christian Sewing is the latest major bank executive to defend DE&I initiatives. He joins a small but growing list of CEOs who are publicly backing their company's DE&I policies. He's the latest executive, along with JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon and Goldman Sachs' David Solomon, who have publicly defended DE&I programs amid wider external criticism of diversity initiatives from both conservative activists and President Trump's new administration. In fact, one of Trump's first executive orders placed federal government DE&I employees on administrative leave as work began to dismantle their departments. Pullback on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the private sector began before Trump took office. A large set of companies, including Meta, Walmart, Target, and McDonald's, either reduced or ended their own DE&I initiatives. Some had already been targeted by conservative activist groups. However, amid the tensions around DE&I, some executives are pushing back against this trend and taking a public stance in support of their firm's DE&I policies. Examples include Deutsche Bank. Last week, CEO Christian Sewing expressed support for his bank's DE&I programs. In a Frankfurt press conference, Sewing said his company was, quote, firmly behind its DE&I programs, calling them integral to its strategy. Quite honestly, I know what diversity has brought us on the management board at the top reporting level, Sewing said. That's why we are strong supporters of these programs. And if the legality of DE&I programs should ever change, the bank might reevaluate its stance, it added. But in terms of our basic attitude, in terms of our mindset, both issues, whether it's diversity policy, inclusion, or sustainability, are all an integral part of Deutsche Bank's strategy, he said. Next, JP Morgan. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said to, quote, bring them on in response to apparent targeting by activist shareholders. Dimon was defiant in the face of apparent targeting from activist shareholders over the company's DE&I programs. Bring them on, he told CNBC in an interview on January 22nd. We're going to continue to reach out to the Black community, the Hispanic community, the LGBTQ community, and the veterans community, he said. Goldman Sachs. David Solomon, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, said that clients think about talent diversity. Solomon said that while he's heard of shareholder proposals that are challenging the bank's DE&I positions, he hadn't yet reviewed them. We're advising our clients, he said. They think about these things, Solomon said in a separate interview with CNBC on January 22nd. They think about things like decarbonization, they think about climate change, they think about their businesses, how they find talent, and the diversity of talent they can find all over the world. Goldman Sachs company's stated inclusion goals are geared towards funneling more women into leadership positions, making progress towards racial equity, and ensuring diversity both among its vendors and in its boardroom. And finally, there's Costco. Costco has been clear about its support for DE&I, even as it faces mounting pressure from conservative groups to walk back its policies. Nearly all of Costco's shareholders rejected a proposal by the National Center for Public Policy Research last week that was similar to the one received by JP Morgan. It would have required Costco to issue a report on the legal and financial risks of DE&I policies. The overwhelming support of our shareholders' vote really puts an answer to that question, Costco CEO Ron Vakris said. And Costco's board had previously issued statements reaffirming the company's dedication to DE&I. Our commitment to an enterprise rooted in respect and inclusion is appropriate and necessary, the board wrote back in December. And the company continues to face scrutiny for its policies, however, as 19 Republican attorneys general sent a letter to Vakris urging him to end what they called, quote, divisive and discriminatory DE&I practices. In our 2025 Workplace Trends report, the team at H3 HR Advisors identified the continuing tension around company DE&I programs and company commitments to previously stated diversity goals in the face of growing external pressures and criticisms to be one of the most important trends to follow and manage this year. It will be critical for HR leaders to work with their executive teams, their employees, and their communities to find the solutions that work best for them. And we will continue to follow this and all the important topics and trends in the world of work here on the HR Happy Hour Media Network. That's it for the Workplace Minute, powered by H3 HR Advisors.